I'm gonna keep this one short and sweet, man. The New Orleans Saints just lost to the Carolina Panthers. The New Orleans Saints just lost to the Carolina Panthers. They have lost 7 in a row. I feel like I'm going crazy. I feel like I'm going crazy. I feel like I'm living in a simulation where I'm being constantly tortured. Because in what world, in any business, is this okay and change is not made? Like, if this doesn't do it for Dennis Allen, if losing to the worst team in football, well, actually, technically, you can't. They didn't lose to the worst team in football because it's impossible to lose to themselves because the Saints are the worst team in football. But if losing to the second worst team in football in the Carolina Panthers is not enough to get Dennis Allen fired, if that is not enough to end the Dennis Allen era, I don't think anything is. And I mean, I don't see what other coach survives this after two mediocre seasons and even worse third one. You've lost 7 in a row. No coach survives this in any other organization, franchise, youth, pee wee, middle school, high school, JV. But it don't like no coach survives something like this. It's just it's insulting. Like they just lost to the Panthers, the Carolina Panthers. Dennis Allen's defense today made Bryce Young look like a competent quarterback. And once again, Dennis Allen's defense, with a chance to close the game out, let the Panthers go down the field. Big play, penalty, gave up a touchdown, whatever. The amount of penalties today, the amount of mistakes today, just like if Dennis Allen isn't gone after this, like how, like at some point we got to have some respect for ourselves as fans and just stop tuning in, stop watching, like because I was listening to Nick Underhill's podcast the other day, right, of New Orleans football, New Orleans football, and he kind of made some. He basically said that Dennis Allen's seat really isn't hot at all, and that Mickey Loomis sees the Saints. He wants the Saints to be like a Steelers type organization where they have very few head coaches over a long period of time. Mickey Loomis wants to develop Dennis Allen as a head coach, bro. How long are you gonna wait for him to develop, dude? Like we've seen him in Oakland. We've seen him in a different situation with the Saints, and he's still just losing. And now he doesn't even have a good defense out there. There are no redeeming qualities for Dennis Allen as a head coach. There are none. When you can't even close the game out against the Carolina Panthers with Bryce Young as their quarterback, who, by the way, has looked awful in the NFL. Until today, he looked like an average quarterback today, good at times, right? You can't come back from this. Like if changes are not made today, I don't care if it's in season. You have to do the right thing and get rid of this loser. Again, like I just feel like I'm going nuts because like what is going on? Everything that Sean Payton and Drew Brees built over the better part of the last 2 decades has just been demolished by the Dennis Allen regime. And Mickey, look, a lot of people say, well, you got to blame Mickey Loomis too. I do, I do. He's the head man in all this. I blame Mickey Loomis too, but the truth is, I know nothing is going to happen to Mickey Loomis. Mickey Loomis is not going to be fired. He is essentially a second owner of the New Orleans Saints franchise. Gail Benson, for as you know, it seems like everybody loves her, and maybe it's best. People say, oh, at least she's not a Jerry Jones type. Well, a little more dip on her chip in terms of what the Saints are doing day to day would be nice, right? Like, yeah, you don't want a Jerry Jones type, but you also don't want a type that just sits around and does nothing. This is a team who has now lost 7 games in a row. 7 games in a row, having just lost to the Carolina Panthers. Something has got to be done. Somebody in a higher position of power has got to step in and make some kind of change. The coaching today from Dennis Allen was atrocious. There was a time in the game where the Saints were the Panthers were on the goal line about to score. The Saints had 12 guys on the field. So they call a timeout so they don't get the penalty, right? And then after the timeout, the Saints still had 12 guys on the field for like a good 20, 30 seconds. How many penalties did we see in this game? At one time, towards the end of the game, it was what? I think it was like 3rd and 28 or something, right? Because of penalties, penalties, penalties. And the Saints actually I want to say it was 3rd down. Yeah, 3rd down. They make a nice play down the middle. They get it to 4th and 1 around midfield, right? There's like 5 minutes left to go in the game. And Dennis Allen elects to punt. You have been running over this team all day on the ground with Taysom and Alvin. And on 4th and 1, Dennis Allen elects to punt. You at that time you were 2-6, bro. Go for it. Go win the game, man. Don't punt on 4th and 1. He's a coward. He's a coward. He can't coach. He can't. He's not a good head coach. He is not going to develop into a head coach. And this delusion that Mickey Loomis sees the Saints as a Steelers type of organization is just it's insanity. It is insanity. Like it's just it's a dark chapter in the New Orleans Saints organization. Not even mentioning the whole Olave situation where now you got Chris Olave's brother involved on Twitter. Somebody asked him, or somebody told Chris Olave's brother on Twitter. They were like, "Hey, you might want to have this talk with Chris Olave about is it worth it?" And Olave's brother replied and was like, "It's definitely not worth it in NOLA," or something along those lines. And it's like, bro, we're really at the point as an organization, as a franchise, where we got players, siblings on Twitter talking down. Like, come on, man. It's just sad, bro. Like, what is it gonna take? I really feel like if Dennis Allen does not get canned after this, I don't know what it would take if losing 7 in a row and losing to the worst team in football, well, second worst team in football now in the Panthers, does not get you fired. What will? Genuinely, what will? You have no redeeming qualities as a head coach. Your defense sucks. You can't discipline. You have no leadership. What can you do? Like, what does he bring to the table other than just a guy standing at the podium? I don't care how many positive captain meetings you have. First of all, the other day, Dennis Allen said, in the captain meetings, everybody was real happy go lucky, and it was a positive meeting. Well, maybe that's the problem. You were 2-6, 2-7 now. Why is that a positive meeting? Why is that a happy meeting? You suck. It's just it's tough, man. I don't know. Uh, it's embarrassing, but the Saints, Mickey Loomis, Gail Benson, Dennis Allen, you reap what you sow. You just lost to the Carolina Panthers.